Hey everyone, it's Craig Campbell from Pastor Craig's Vintage Cards with another deep dive on the 1956 top set. And today we're going to be taking a look at Roy Face, who was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is kind of a home team for me here because I live in the Pittsburgh area, and Roy Face is still with us. He's still alive. He's about 96 years old, and used to see him every now and then at some pirate functions. Haven't seen him for quite a while, but Elroy Face, Pittsburgh Pirates, and just a real nice pose there again with the follow through on the pitch. And if you notice, he's got the blue hat on and the blue colored uniform, but yet his pirate batting helmet. It almost looks like a batting helmet on his head. Has the yellow and the black. But Roy Face, pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and just a real phenomenal guy. And take a look at his height there. He's 5'8" and 155 pounds, so not a very big man at all. And he throws right and he bats right. Born in 1928. So let's take a look at Elroy Leon Face and his career and a little bit about him. Just a real interesting guy. Had one heck of a career. Um, it says, like many great players, Elroy Leon Face's career in the major leagues was defined by a pair of numbers, 18 and 1. Face's 1959 season, when he won 18 games against a single loss in relief for the Pirates, is certainly a remarkable achievement. At .947, it was the highest single winning percentage ever for a pitcher. Only 3 other pitchers have ever posted a .900 winning percentage in a season since 1901, to have a minimum of 15 wins. Elroy Face was a stalwart member of the Pirates from the mid-50s through the late 60s. The slight right-handed relief ace became one of the best-known faces of the post-war Pittsburgh franchise, and there's no doubt about that. Elroy Face was an important member of the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise, the team, and the community. Durability is one of the hallmarks of the greatest relief pitchers, and Elroy Face certainly met that test. The right-hander pitched for 16 years, all but 2 of them exclusively or almost exclusively in relief. In 1956, Face tied the major league record by appearing in 9 consecutive games between September 3rd and 13th, including 5 games in 4 days. That's right, 5 games in 4 days, September 7th through the 10th. Even though he shouldered a heavy workload, Face was on the disabled list only once in his career, and that was for a knee surgery in 1965. Consistency is another quality of a great relief pitcher. Again, Face made the grade by posting double-digit save totals in all but 2 seasons from 1957 to 1968. He led the league in saves 3 times and appearances twice, and was a member of the National League All-Star team in 59, 60, and 61. The only relief pitcher of the pre-expansion era whose career was comparable to Face was Hoyt Wilhelm, the ageless knuckleballer who made a brilliant debut at age 29 with the Giants in 1952. Wilhelm went 15-3 with 11 in saves, leading the National League in appearances 71, all in relief. However, after 2 more good seasons, Wilhelm's career stalled as he bounced from the Giants to the Cardinals. Wilhelm's career took a while, but it eventually did eclipse Face, but Face was the pioneer in the defining role of the ace reliever in the 1950s. And that's one thing that Elroy Face is really not remembered for, is that he was kind of the pioneer of that relief pitcher, certainly in the 50s. Hoyt Wilhelm, of course, is in the Hall of Fame and gets a lot of notoriety as the first kind of closer relief pitcher, but Elroy Face was really the pioneer for that role. And he was a star reliever, but what's interesting is that Elroy Face, he peaked at 19% in the Hall of Fame balloting in 1987. And that was really the most percentage he ever got, was 19%. And Hoyt Wilhelm was, of course, inducted into Cooperstown in 1985. If we look at retroactive stats, we'll see that Elroy Face was the all-time save leader between 1962 and really up until Hoyt Wilhelm. He was the all-time leader in saves and had such a great career. He led all major league pitchers in relief games with 717. That's 87 more than Hoyt Wilhelm. and in saves with 183, which is 20 more than what Hoyt Wilhelm had. So Elroy Face had a remarkable career, remarkable career. He was signed by the Phillies at the age of 20, and they exposed him to the annual winter draft, and the Brooklyn Dodgers snatched him in 1950. And Elroy Face was in the Dodgers farm system all through the time, and then Pittsburgh drafted him in 1952, and then the following spring in 53, Elroy Face made his major league debut on April 16th. He spent the whole season with the Pirates. He made 41 appearances that first year, including 13 starts, but his ERA was 6.58. And at that time, the diminutive right-hander, he was what they called a blow-and-go guy. Because remember, he was a small fella. He was 5'8" and 165 pounds, according to this card back here. Or even smaller, 5'8" and 155. So Elroy Face was considered what they call a blow-and-go guy. And he threw as hard as he could for as long as he could. But he was not an experienced pitcher. Despite his small stature, though, Face threw hard. He threw hard. And he had two pitches mainly, a fastball and a curveball. And he struggled initially that first year. After that first year, he was sent in 1954 to the farm system. But then he came back at the end of 54. He came back into with the Pirates in 54. Danny Murtaugh, who was the Pirates, who would later lead the Pirates to the World Series, in 1960 and 71. He was his minor league manager. And Danny Murtaugh is the one that converted Elroy Face to a full-time reliever. And after he became a full-time reliever, he started to master a new pitch, which he traveled with, which he used in 1955 and came to the big leagues with Pittsburgh after spring training. And that new pitch that he threw was called a forkball. And Elroy Face was one of the first really throwers of a forkball. And it was really hard to hit. It was hard to control also. But it was like a change of pace pitch that suddenly dropped off when the pitcher, it kind of tumbled. There was very little spin on the ball. It just dropped out of the strike zone as batters started to swing at it. The pitch was unpredictable, almost like a knuckleball. Now, armed with this new pitch, Elroy Face took off with an excellent career. He split his time between starting and relieving, and he led the National League in appearances with 68. By 1957, he had registered double-digit saves, and in 58, he led the National League in saves for the first time. And then he had that sensational 1959 season where he was an all-star, and that's the stuff that became legends, where he made that 18-1 and just had a fantastic year. His sole loss in 1959 snapped a relief record of a 17-game winning streak. Just an unbelievable years that he had doing that. And it was his first loss in 99 appearances when he did finally lose a game. That's right, his first loss in 99 appearances. He was a key actor in Pittsburgh's 1960 World Series win. And it was amazing. He saved 24 games. He had a 2.9 ERA in 114 innings. But the thing that's amazing is that he logged in that 1960 World Series 10 1/3 innings as a relief pitcher, more than any other Pirate starter, which is amazing. Only Vern Law had more innings pitched during that World Series than Elroy Face. In 1961, he had kind of an off year. He went 6-12, and he kind of struggled, but he came back and he led the league in saves, and he had a good ERA, and he just was really good. But his durability was so good, and he struggled in that 1963 season, and then he struggled again in 64 a little bit, and then that's when he had that knee injury. They started to use him a little bit less. His innings kind of went down, and he posted 3 really good seasons after 65 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And then he was sold to Detroit in 1968, and when he left Pittsburgh, he held the National League record for games pitched, 802, games in relief, 775, games finished, 547, and relief wins with 92. In all those categories, Face was second to future Hall of Famer Hoyt Wilhelm, who had the major league lead in all them categories. And the Wilhelm, of course, was the first relief pitcher enshrined in Cooperstown. And one of the differences is that Wilhelm played for a lot of decent teams. And really, when you take the Pirates, he only had that one pennant winning year in 1960. In his 14 years, one pennant winner, and they were in the first division or in the leader of the division 3 other times. So he really played for some subpar Pittsburgh Pirate teams. And he went to Detroit, and he just it didn't go well for him there at all. And he had 2 appearances, I believe, for the Tigers in 1968. He was not on their World Series roster team. And his career came to a close in 1969. The year, ironically, when the save became an official stat. And he was released by Detroit, and he played for the expansion Expos. And he appeared, I believe, in 44 games in AAA. And he finished the year pitching in AAA in Hawaii. A good place to be, I guess, to finish out your career in 1970 before he hung up his spikes. Now, Elroy Face, he had 104 wins in his career over 95 losses. He appeared in 848 games with 191 saves and only started 27 games out of the 848 that he appeared in. He had 1,375 innings pitched, almost 1,400 innings pitched, with 877 strikeouts. His first card was a 1953 Topps, and he did not have a 1955 issue in Bowman or in Topps. And then we have this 1956 card here, and then his last card, of course, was in 1969. So his run of baseball cards went from 53 to 54, then from 56 until 1969. And as I said at the beginning of the video, Elroy Face is still with us. He was born in 1928, so he's 96 years old. And he did make quite a few public appearances for the Pirates in the last, 10 years or so, but we don't see or hear too much of him anymore. But at 96 years of age, he's one of the older players that is still with us from that era. But yeah, Elroy Face, he's again, being a local Pittsburgh guy, he's a pretty famous Pirate alumni in our area. And he had a heck of a career. And, his numbers, when you stack them up against Hoyt Wilhelm, you almost wonder, why did he get so little Hall of Fame attention? But he had a couple of really, some tough years in the middle there. And but he had that remarkable year early on in his career, which just really set him apart. And then a great 1960 World Series for the Pirates. So that's Roy Face, and this is really a great card here. Nice and sharp. The condition on this card is really nice. And again, I love the 1956 set. I do find it ironic that he's the head close-up shows the yellow and black hat, and then the full body picture shows the blue and gray of the Pirates. And just a fantastic card, though. But Elroy Face, just a famous bucko, and just had a great career, and really just so glad he's still with us at 96 years of age. He's had a long life after baseball, and a phenomenal career. Really one of the first relievers that really kind of set that position to be of not just a washed-up person, but to be an important instrumental part on a team, to have a guy that can come in and close the games for you. And, of course, now we see the importance of closers now in baseball. But for a little guy that threw awfully hard and then developed that forkball, he had one heck of a career. So, again, Roy Face, more of a common player that we look at as we fill up our sets, but what a great career that he had. And so I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive look at 1956 Topps and Elroy Face, who was so famous with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Guys, keep enjoying your collection, and just have a good time with your cards and look at them and study them a little bit, and enjoy the collection. Everybody have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.